one of our entirely new styles, like our all-clear look.
This looks like So Apple just revealed how iOS 26 will look like, and as an Android user, I'm quite curious. We got a video right here. We're gonna react to the key changes. I'm curious if they've learned from their mistakes. iOS 18 was quite a failure. I made a video about it, so if you're curious, you can check that out, why it failed. I have high expectations of Apple because it's one of the biggest tech giants in the world right now. So let's get into it.
Welcome to Apple Park, and welcome to WWDC.
Liquid glass. With the optical qualities of glass and a fluidity that only Apple can achieve, it transforms depending on your content or even your context and brings more clarity to navigation and controls. It beautifully refracts light and dynamically reacts to your movement with specular highlights. This material brings a new level of vitality to every aspect.
And I've seen some videos about liquid glass. Some people loved it, some people don't. I think it depends on the use case. For example, if you're on, let's say in this case, video player such as Netflix or, Apple TV or some things. Like in this environment, it looks good. But I don't know how that translates to a lot of icons and windows, especially in macOS.
Crafted app icons from liquid glass. It makes them feel fresh while keeping them instantly identifiable. And it allows them to adapt. Whether you use dark mode or one of our entirely new styles, like our all-clear look.
This looks like bro. Like I get you want to keep like a consistent liquid glass, glassified design and icons, but this is not it. Like genuinely, I don't think this is it. I think you have to squint your eyes, especially on your phone. This looks like some Android glass icon pack made by some third party. It genuinely doesn't look that good. I don't know who at Apple thought this would be a great idea. Apple, you are a $1 trillion company. Like I understood liquid glass, classified playback or I don't know, control center, but these icons, they are not it, man. They're like terrible. They're excuse my language, but they're
So you can see how we've made wallpaper.
sad, bro.
Let's jump back to the lock screen so you can see.
That makes Android look better, bro. You're literally snatching defeat from the hands of victory, from the close of victory, or whatever the code is.
An exciting new way to bring personality to those shared spaces with backgrounds. When you select a background, it appears for everyone in the conversation to enjoy. You have a variety.
See, I think this is the problem with the glass thing. Like, look at this. Do you see this? This is not it. Like, it overlaps, and I know it's cool, but it's annoying. Like, that would piss me off, especially that I've done design and I've done motion graphics. This placement right here is not it. Like, this is not it. The last cool feature Apple added, I think it was the dynamic island. I wish more Androids had it. Android, please don't adapt this classified style, please.
Select a background, it appears for everyone in the conversation to enjoy. You have a variety of dynamic built-in backgrounds to choose from, or select one of your own photos. And with Apple Intelligence, you can even generate your own backgrounds in Image Playground.
Basically just like what WhatsApp and Viber and all these social messaging platforms had for years. You call this innovation? Like genuinely, like geez, you made a whole event for the most mid changes and make them sound like something extraordinary. Only Apple could have done this crap, I swear.
Next, let's talk about group chats. Group chats are home to so many age-old questions, like what weekend is everyone free? Instead of dealing with a flurry of responses, we're introducing a delightful way to visualize what the people want with polls. You can create a poll for anything.
Geez,
And with Apple Intelligence, messages can detect when a poll might come in handy and suggest one. Like if someone asks, where should we stay for our annual trip? And when your more particular friends don't like the options, anyone in the group can contribute new ideas.
This is so cringe, bro.
The votes roll in live.
Like, I don't need you a whole rant about polls, bro. You could have just made a small animation about, you know, all the new changes coming to messages. It's not that deep, bro. It's not that deep.
Live translation can automatically translate text for you. So if you're making plans with some new friends while studying abroad, your message can
Okay,
be
that's
translated
cool. That's cool, but my problem is that Android had that for years already. Like 2 years already we had that. We had that crap. Like, is this innovation for you? Geez, you're falling behind, Apple. It's so disappointing because as an Android user, as much of an Android user and Linux user I have been in my life, I've always loved Apple for their design and some features, but like, you guys are already falling behind, and it's quite sad to see one of the biggest tech giants fall so hard. You know, especially after all the innovations they've done in the past years. Like, you know, we wouldn't have a lot of things without Apple and their vision, but nowadays it just seems like they're left behind. They're no innovation. Like,
So if you've ordered Uber Eats on your iPhone, the live activity also appears.
I'm gonna be very honest with you, I love macOS. Like, the design language for macOS I think is so satisfying, to the point where I even turn my Linux GNOME into a macOS Lite version. Like, the themes, the extensions, everything is, you know, if there's an OS that I would love to succeed, is macOS, simply because it's so cool. Like, look at, like, it looks so smooth. But Apple is just shooting themselves in the foot with these lame updates. They're $1 trillion company, mate, and they are bringing the most lame updates known to man, and they make a big deal about it. Like, they made a whole 2-hour event about all of these new features that we had for years. You could have done a 10 minutes video, and as far as I'm concerned.
And when you click, the app opens in iPhone mirroring, so you can take action directly on your Mac. We're also enhancing the calling experience by bringing the Phone app to Mac. You can conveniently access your familiar content, like recents, contacts, and voicemail, synced from iPhone.
I think this is a big deal mostly in the US. Like, here in Europe, we are using a lot of WhatsApp and a lot of other social platforms to the point where we use them on web directly. And I know a lot of people are like, you know, it's the ecosystem of Apple, but we live in a day and age where we have internet. You know what I mean?
Now I also have this grab handle in the bottom right to fluidly resize apps into windows. If I previously resized apps, when I open them again, they open back in the exact same size and position, and I can place them just where I want them.
I don't understand why Apple still doesn't add, you know, the minimize or the macOS buttons on iPadOS. iPads have gotten really solid, especially ever since implementing Apple silicon chips in them, and especially on editing front. I was genuinely considering one of either an iPad or a Samsung Galaxy Tab with Samsung DeX for Lightroom editing photography. But I don't understand why Apple is just so stubborn to just add the regular or at least the macOS Lite version on these tablets. What can I say? I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because I expected Apple to do so much more. I expected them to actually innovate, which they didn't. They haven't. And we've been told that iPadOS 2016 or as it was called, AppleOS 2016 is going to be a big update, and you know, it's going to be something extraordinary, and it's just the most lame-ass Apple event known to man. And I think that's the issue with Apple. I think Apple has been left behind, especially in the AI technology. Like, by now, I was expecting for Apple to have their own, at least, chatbot, a generating tool, but they rely on either Gemini or ChatGPT. I think ChatGPT much more, but and I think one of the differences between Google and the Android and iOS on this part I'm talking about is that Android makes a lot of small updates during the year, and a lot of the Android updates, go unnoticed because they don't make a huge event about it, you know, like, and even when they do, they only talk about AI. But a lot of the small changes, they go behind the scenes. We don't even notice them a lot of the times. While on Apple, you get the most lame updates and they make a whole ass event, like, you know, something so spectacular, and it happens to be also coming with a dose of cringe. And it's quite sad because I still remember the Apple events, like, you know, from Steve Jobs times. Those events had aura, maybe because of Steve Jobs, or I don't know, but I just find it sad because, you know, I like a lot of, you know, the design, especially design. I've always loved iOS in terms of the design and you know, the way it looks and feels, but I just don't like the way they decide not to, you know, they stopped innovating. And I think that's the biggest issue with Apple. After all, they stopped innovating, they stopped caring. And I think that's going to lead to their downfall, even if they like it or not, because people are going to move on to newer or, you know, to more advanced, or, you know, just at least something that keeps up to date and is not behind with updates years ago. I wish the best to Apple in terms of, you know, innovation. And if anyone from Apple sees this video, broskis, you are a trillionaire company. You should have done better. You should have led the races, the AI races, the innovation races. You already have a loyal, loving fan base that are willing to go to war for you. And I don't understand why you don't want to innovate. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button, it'll mean a lot. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Stay smart, stay curious. My name is Reynald, and I'll see you in the next one.